Hey guys, this is Jesse Flores from Nicaragua. As everybody knows me, I'm an artist in the cigar industry. Also a father. Um, I'm doing this video in my car because I got two little boys and I really don't want them to hear what I'm about to say. And I'm here to talk about my oldest and my firstborn, Stephanie Nicole. I've tried to do this video a few times, but it's kind of hard, choking and hard to swallow. We're going through an emotional roller coaster ride, emotionally and physically and mentally. I want to take this time to thank everybody that's reached out to me in prayers, shared Bible scriptures with me. I'm a big believer in God. I'm a God-fearing man. A lot of people know me over the years. I very rarely have spoken about her. Not because I'm shy about her. I've always wanted, the best for her. She didn't go to school. Follow up why she didn't go to school. I think she only went for like 2 semesters. And when I first got here in Nicaragua, I met her mother, Stephanie's mother. And we didn't have a good relationship, but we always stayed as friends because of our daughter. I was already working at Drew State when she was born. And when she was born, it was very difficult. She was in an incubator for a few days. And then everything was normal with her. And then 2 years into her life, she started having breathing problems. And unfortunately, she was diagnosed that she had problems in her heart. She has 2 holes in her heart. And usually, if you guys understand the system of a carburetor, it opens up as, intake, outtake. In her heart, since there's 2 holes, if it was one, they could have operated years ago and she would be fine. And then, since it's 2 little holes, both are doing this instead of this. The passageways for blood, they're not pumping as normal as a normal human being. She's 20 years old now, and she's had a lot of difficulties growing up as a normal teenager. She's never been to a high school. She didn't graduate. She missed out on a lot of things that normal kids do. She's not disabled. She's not mentally ill. She's a normal, human being, but she has heart problems. And we accepted it as a parent. A few years ago, it's kind of stressing. When she was diagnosed with her problem, we went to the government and asked for help, and they said we have physicians in Cuba that could help her out. So the local government and municipality helped us out, and we sent her to Cuba for 6 months, observation, exams, and everything. And once they were ready to do her operation, before they contacted me, I was in the office, and they reached out to me and told me, hey, we're concerned if you're okay with her going through this operation because she might not make it. And I was like, give me a day to think about it, and I'll get back to you guys. So I called the Cuban physicians and I told them, listen, I'm not going to go through with this operation. I'm going to leave it in God's hands, because I'm a God-fearing man. And we brought her back to Esteli, and unfortunately, her life would never be normal. as another kid, another child. So over the years, she went more to clinics and private physicians and specialty doctors, that knew about cardiology and stuff like that. Now, one of the reasons that I've never mentioned her or put her on social media is like I never wanted her to be ridiculed or looked at as like, oh, that poor little girl. I don't want people to, I just want her to live her normal life, but over the years she's been sick. She's developed problems in her bones because in deficiency of her blood flow, and she's had to have blood extracted from her when she has her menstruation. She sometimes has so much blood accumulated that blood has to be extracted from her. And even from a nosebleed, she goes into she's been in ICU. Imagine, from a nosebleed. So she's had, I can't be in her shoes, but she's had very complicated childhood. And the doctors here overseeing her when she was diagnosed with her heart problem, we did echocardiograms and echo heart monitoring and everything, and they were the ones that told us that she would only live till 7 years old. She's a strong little girl. She's 20 years old now, and she's battled through the most of us. We complain about a flu and a cold, and this girl gets a flu and a cold, and it's like 15 days in the hospital because she can't resist it. She's very thin. She's very weary, and her lips are purple, and her fingernails, because of the blood flow, doesn't get enough oxygen to all of her body. So she's had multiple problems over the years. And last year, she had one of her lungs collapse. So right now she's breathing with one lung. Unfortunately, we've tried to deal with it emotionally with her, so she stays positive. Then last year, ending of 2019, she said that she was having pains, and then we found out that she had problems in her bones. Her bones are separating from her spinal cord and also from different joints in her body, from her wrist, her elbows, and her knees. So she's very weary. I reached out to a few friends and I explained to them over the years, I have this little girl, and they've been very supportive. Hearing the news about her health deterioration, and whew. Then we find out that she has, she was always complaining about pain in one side of her abdominal. So we sent her back to do more exams. And recently we found out that she has 3 cancerous tumors in her left kidney, which needs to be extracted, which is very scary, because that means that we need to put her to sleep a little bit, with anesthesia, and operate and extract, which is a very risky part from her health. Usually a normal healthy person, you can just put her to sleep, and in her part, we're very scared that she might not make it after the operation. I'm a God-fearing man, and I pray a lot. I wake up at like 4 or 5 in the morning sometimes, just praying for everybody, even foes and friends. But mostly my prayers are for her and my kids. I got 2 little boys. When I see them running around and making a muck and crying and jumping on things, and I see them top of the counter, I'm like, I feel blessed to have them. And then I see my daughter, and I'm like, man, I can't believe this is happening. she's going through so much. And she's tough. I know everybody has their ups and downs, their moments. But as parents, I already signed the waiver, for her to get operated. I've had numerous meetings with surgeons from the government. The Nicaraguan government is doing the operation. But I don't have insurance, so they're taking care of everything except the before care and after care. She needs to be in good health before she gets operated. Now, the reason for me doing this is because it's a bit overwhelming as a father. I'm the provider for 2 families, and I feel a little bit overwhelmed with what's going on. And she needs extra care. She needs a nurse, she needs a medical bed, she needs oxygen tank, she needs a breather at night, because she can't snore, she can't breathe. She gets clogged up here on her nostrils. And I reached out to a friend. A friend is going to help us with a wheelchair. And right now she's living in a 2-floor home, so I want to get her out of there and put her in a 1-floor home. It's very straining for me as a parent. I can't imagine what she's going through. So I'm asking for people to help her out. She's a little girl in my mind, in my heart, because as a parent, I see her as a little girl, even though she's 20 years old. She's very fragile, and she's very emotional, as any other person be in her shoes, because I couldn't even imagine what she's going through. Her mother and I decided not to tell her that, she's getting extracted for tumors. So we're just telling her that she needs her kidney removed. That way she doesn't get emotional or, doesn't want to go through the operation. Because, how are you going to explain to a kid that you're going to extract tumors from your body and we're praying you're going to be fine? And we'd rather keep her the secret and, let her go through with the operation. And as fathers, parents, we want this to happen as quickly as possible, because we don't want the tumors to be developed to cancer cells, and that way it's going to spread. But the 15 surgical doctors that are going to operate on her, it's like a few of the doctors say, don't do it, she won't resist it. Other doctors say, let's do this. So right now in Managua, there's 15 doctors, surgeons from the Nicaraguan surgical teams. I've never talked to so many doctors in my life. And one of my friends just called me. Hey, we missed you at Puro Sabor. I was like, man, I couldn't go. I was, I couldn't tell anybody what I was going through with her. So I figured to spend more time with her than being, at a party, living it up. I would rather, spend time with her and try to figure out how can I help her with dealing with this with the doctors. The doctors told me that it's a very high-risk operation because of her heart and her lung. And it's going to be a very tough journey for us. But I believe in God. And I believe I have many friends in the world. And it's a time that I would never do this because I was, working, and I had insurance to cover many medical bills, but the majority of stuff I was always covering from my pockets and the art that I sold. Everybody's like, hey, man, you sold a lot of art. I'm like, well, this is the reason why. I had medical coverage and medical bills to pay for my daughter. And reaching out to all my friends in this GoFundMe campaign, which is really difficult for us because we weren't not ready for this, as parents. And it's a roller coaster ride. and I'll keep everybody updated as soon as I know when the date of the operation is. So I've been waiting and waiting to do this video, because I figured I want to do it with the date of the operation, but I can't wait anymore. I want her to start feeling comfortable and, you know, knowing that she's going to have help from Dad's friends. Because I'm a big influence. I have to be the voice for her. So, she will be operated this month. We're waiting on the doctors to tell us when it's going to happen. After the operation, anything that happens to her, I will let you guys know. I know it's something very private in my life to share my life. I'm very private, you know, not in the aspect of like my art and music and what kind of cigarette I smoke, because this is something very private, you know, that I've held on for 20 years after, you know, she was born, and going through divorces. You know, a lot of guys like, oh yeah, she's my kid, you know, but I don't see her. You know, like, yeah, I've always seen her. I've always known what's going on with her. I've always known the stages of being in the ICU or being in the hospital. And her mother contacted me and was like, where are you? I was like, I'm working. I can't go. I have to be here. So I was always dedicated to work. You know, I was not the type of guy that was gonna leave, you know, everything behind and be at the hospital. I'm like, I know you're there. I know you're taking care of her, you know, because I always dedicated time to work, you know. And now that I'm not working, I spend a lot of time with her, and I'm traveling 2 to 3 times a week to visit her in the city of Messiah. And she has a little sister from another marriage, Stephanie, and they take care of her. You know, everybody in the community where she lives, they love her, they adore her. You know, she's a golden child. A lot of people really have taken heart and love and care for her. And now as a parent, I'm obliged to ask for help to help her in her needs, medication and anything that comes her way before and after the operation. And I know that it's a lot what she goes through, and I can't even imagine what she's going to go through after the operation. So in God's name, I hope that, you know, everything will go well. And I want to take the time to thank everybody for listening to Stephanie's story. Stephanie's story is a long one. It's 20 years in and out and battling hospitals and meeting doctors and shaking hands with people saying thank you for helping her. And I wanted to reach out, you know, to my friends in the community, my family. My family's helping me with the GoFundMe campaign, and I appreciate it. And anything that comes our way is very blessed and appreciated. Thank you guys for giving me the time and opportunity to speak about my daughter, Stephanie Nicole. And I'll be honest, it's hard. But I believe in God, and I believe in my friends. I also believe that, you know, she was here on this earth for a reason, to touch hearts. Because her being my firstborn, I really got her understanding about needs and special needs, medication, treatments, and stuff like that. I don't have it with my boys. My boys are 2 and 5, and they're running around all day long. Like, they get all this energy. You know, I've never seen Stephanie run. I've never seen her climb up anything. I've never seen her do things like my boys. And it's an eerie sensation inside you that you don't know what's going to happen. I leave it in God's hands. But while she's here, she will need some special care and special attention. I will need to hire a nurse to take care of her, because her mother doesn't work. I've always taken care of them. I've literally just taking care of 2 households, and it's a little much for us right now. I know that she asked to spend a lot of time with her brother, so I'm doing that right now. This week, I'm going to take my boys to see her. That way, she'll be at ease and know that she has family around her. My family in the States rarely knows about her, because I never speak to nobody about her. I've always, no social media. Like, literally on birthdays, I take a picture with her, and I've spoken to her, to a few friends, and a few friends know that she exists. I never wanted people to look at her and have pity for her. I always wanted her to be a normal human being. And thanks, guys, for taking the time to hear the video. And God bless everybody. And we're gonna make this possible for her to continue on. It's a life journey, so it's not just a first step, second step. We've taken all the steps that we can. We've done all the exams. Somebody asked me, like, hey, have you tried do an operation in the States? I'm like, I wish I could. I don't have insurance. I don't have how can you say a health plan. I'm just an artist. Well, guys, thank you, and God bless you guys for hearing me out, and love everybody.